All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show, and thank you guys for being here today. This is the Segment Podcast, and guys, I'm really excited today. I have a special guest. His name is Tommy, as well as one of his writers, George, and they are the Wreckless writers. You guys have for sure seen the YouTube videos out there, but let's get a chance to get to know the guy. And without further ado, this is Tommy. Hey, Tommy.
What's up?
Hey, thanks for being on tonight, buddy.
Thanks for having us.
I really appreciate it. We got a couple folks on right now. We got a group of writers called Trail Dogs MTB. Tommy, can you see those comments here on the side now?
No, I
Does it show
can't.
up?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so here we go. We'll just pop that up on the screen there. And so these guys are really cool too. These guys, Trail Dogs MTB, are just a group of really nice guys that have a great time out there, and they like to get group rides and everything. Um,
Sweet.
but but yeah, guys, this is Tommy. So feel free. Oh, look at this! Here comes one right here. You know this man,
What's
MTB
up? What up, Tom?
Allen.
I
What's
know
up,
that's
MTB Allen?
that stash.
Yeah. That's if you want to have amazing facial hair like that, ladies and gentlemen, MTB Allen has a new line for the fall spring on his Teespring collection, and there's actually a neck gaiter that if you pull it up, you get the stash. uh, so Tommy and I were talking a little bit backstage about writing and the passion for writing, and was finding out some really great information on Tommy. And Tommy, if you wouldn't mind, take us back to like the day that you started mountain biking. Was it somebody who influenced you? Was it just something that you
Yeah.
wanted to do? How did that all get
Well,
started?
it's a pretty crazy story because going back like about, man, 15 years ago, I snapped my knee
Oh,
snowboarding. So I completely, like, I broke my femur, tore my ACL, my MCL. It actually broke like the knee is supposed to like bend like this, and
okay.
it broke like that. Like my knee went like all the
No.
way out. And then so I had knee
Oh,
surgery,
good Lord.
reconstruction knee surgery, and then never really the same. That was all through snowboarding. And then a few years later, um, my wife got me into yoga. I rehabbed my knee pretty well, and
Okay.
then I got back into like MMA, like um, grappling and like you know, and, I was in like we call it Fight Club, and I popped my knee out again really bad, and
Oh,
I snapped my screws out of my knee. So I had
jeez.
titanium screws in my knee, and I it could have done multiple different because I was paintballing too, and
Mm,
I snapped it twice doing that. But I'm
okay.
really stubborn. I always think I'm okay. I limp off.
Mm.
Um, and hey, Renee said, "What's up, Renee?"
What's up, Renee
And
Felix?
so I went to I went to the doctor like a few months after, and he said my knee was completely torn. Like my ligaments are off the screws. I'm gonna have to do another knee surgery. So
Oh my
I
God.
went in for a second reconstruction, and then I had to go to physical therapy. And my physical therapist was a mountain biker, and he's the one who recommended me getting into mountain biking. And then he told me what to buy. Like so, he's more of a cross
Wow.
country mountain biker.
Okay.
So
Like
I got
XC
a
rider.
yeah. I didn't really know the difference, so it kind of gave me some links on bikes to buy. I ended up getting a hardtail 29er, and I rode that for like a couple months, and then I met uh, a guy on the trail in Aliso who then started taking me down illegal stuff, some really gnarly stuff. And then I was like, he's like, dude, you cannot be taking the hardtail down that stuff. So then I got a full suspension. I've been hooked ever since. So it's been about I think about 7 or 8 years since my surgery. So
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, I
Was
didn't get into it like my therapist. He's seen my videos, and He's like, what the hell are you? This is not this is not what I was telling you to do. But you know,
You're like, cruise through the woods, take a green
yeah,
trail, take a look at the birds,
yeah,
and you're like, how about if I fly above the birds and the trees and come down?
yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, he's kind of like,
Wow.
what the hell are you doing, man? I mean, I appreciate the business because I mean, he knows I'll be back to see him again because I'm actually supposed to have another knee reconstruction surgery on my right knee. Now I completely tore that. That's mountain biking. So I have no ACL on my right knee right now. I've been avoiding surgery for 3 years already.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
That's why I wear
Wow.
like, yeah, knee. I have metal hinges on my knee brace that I have to wear when I mountain bike.
Does it
Yeah.
cause you pain when you're pedaling, or
No,
does
no,
it
no,
feel
no.
better when you're on the bike?
Yeah, it actually is like pedaling is really good. I should do more pedaling, but I don't. But it actually that's a one of the reasons why I do crash when I crash a lot is like I basically can't put my foot down because if I put my foot down, I will dislocate my knee. That's really painful. So when I'm about to go down,
Jeez.
sometimes I just let the bike go and I go down with it. But
Jeez,
your
Tommy.
instinct is to put your foot down to kind of. But if I do that, it's gonna pop out, and it's
Wow.
popped out so many times in rides. You
So
know,
that's the right knee.
that's my right knee. Yeah, it's a
Okay.
pain. Like when it pops out, it's like getting a knee bar. So it's painful. Yeah,
Ah,
it's super
and
painful.
there's
And it
no
pops
there's
back.
nobody to tap. There's nobody to
Yeah,
tap. You just gotta
yeah,
pop it back in.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
MTB
yeah,
Allen says, a nice mellow sport of MTB.
yeah.
We got Renee Felix saying, you're one of the best persons I met on the MTB, and his
Oh,
pho is the best.
thanks, brother.
MTB Allen says at Renee, 100%, 100%. So when you're back there, you're doing jujitsu. You're thinking maybe this is the new sport. You're probably still doing MMA. I mean, it's one of those things I hear is very addicting as well. But
Yeah, actually, that I actually had to completely stop. So when I
oh
tore
wow,
my knee, I don't even do that anymore. I grew up wrestling in high school,
oh man,
so yeah, like I got in way too many fights as a kid, and it was more like I went in just hit bags and stuff, and then I joined the fight club, and then we would roll and stuff. I didn't enter any tournaments or anything like that. Just it was more for fun, but I can't even do that anymore because I
wow,
get to like you know I'm kind of hard headed, so like tapping is one of the things I try not to do. So then that's a bad thing,
yeah.
when you should tap and you don't tap, bad things
You try to get
happen.
out of it.
Yeah, bad things happen. Yeah,
Do you remember what happened when you tore your ligaments when you were doing jujitsu?
yeah, it was a knee bar.
It was a knee bar,
Yeah, yeah,
and no tapping on the knee
I
bar.
didn't tap. Yeah, I didn't tap.
Gosh, Tommy,
Yeah, until
wow.
yeah, until it was too late.
Hey
Yeah,
man.
that's stupid.
Uh, here, we got a question here from MTB Allen's Tommy. Have you figured out the cramping?
uh well, it could be a number of different things. Like um, Alan's talking about like me cramping when I ride.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I fast, so I only eat one meal a day.
Oh wow.
It definitely could be that, because when I'm out riding, I'm just on water, you know, and
Wow.
but I go for um, I can normally go. Well, to be honest with you, though, I actually cramp. I can go a lot further now before I cramp since I started fasting. I used to cramp after like 10 miles. Now I could do like 20. I could do like
Oh.
50. Like I do like 15, 18 miles without cramping. Is when I hit around 20 miles is where I start cramping, or over 3,000 feet of elevation. When I did 20 miles, that's like an enduro ride. Obviously, I could do way more than 20 when we're pedaling and stuff like that and doing downhill. And then, but it's more like the enduro days where we're doing a lot of pedaling. Like I would say over 15 miles is where I start cramping.
Cramping.
Yeah.
Was there
Mhm.
something that you changed to start? Well, you were cramping at 10 miles, but then you were getting it up to 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Did you change something like maybe more potassium the night before you go into your fast
Yeah,
or
I
something?
do a couple of things. So, I forgot who told me, but somebody from Intense, but it's eating beets. So beets help your blood or something, but it helps with cramping. So I do eat a lot of beets. But I think fasting in general, like I eat a ton of vegetables. I don't eat carbs. gluten. So I'm pretty strict diet. And I think that definitely has a big impact on my stamina and my health. But cramping wise, I think that's just lack of uh, whatever. Like when you sweat so much and all you getting, I can't put anything in. Like people take like supplements or whatever. I guess I could do salt packets or whatever, but I don't carry anything with me. It's just water. I don't have bars. I don't have those little gummies or anything like that. I mean, people offer it to me, but I don't take any of that stuff just because it would break my fast. So
Wow. With your fat, that's really interesting. So, are you now? And I'll get into this too later. But I noticed at one point you were changing out one of your coils because you
mhm.
had lost some weight.
Yeah,
Was that all from? Is the fasting thing a new thing, or is this
yeah. So, I mean,
some?
I've done it now for almost 4 years, like three and a half or four, like 4 years maybe. Um, but I was like pretty overweight. I mean, I was overweight when I started riding. I didn't think I was overweight, but I was about 180 pounds. But I worked out. I've worked out my whole life every day, so I was still working out, going to the gym, doing yoga, everything. But the difference is when I started fasting, I lost a ton of weight. Like my waist was 34 inches, and now it's about 28, 29
Oh,
inches.
dang!
So
You got the V shape going there, Tommy.
yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, I haven't had a 28, 29 inch waist since I was like a freshman in high school. So I actually used
Wow.
to wrestle at 135 in the high school, and I was walking around 145, and now I'm about 150. So I'm like
Dang.
my weight as that I was in as a freshman
Wow.
sophomore in high school. Yeah.
And that probably feels good too on the knee when you're
Yeah.
just walking around, being
Hmm.
at a slimmer, trimmer, meaner body
For sure.
weight.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
And is that what started the fasting for you? Was wanting to lose weight, or how did that even get started?
Well, I was having some health issues, like stomach issues and stuff. So I'm so stubborn. So I normally like till it's unbearable, then I'll go see a doctor. But I had like all kinds of like major stomach aches after I ate. Just felt really bloated. Just felt like crap. And to me, over the years, I just associated that feeling of just being full. But
Mm.
but it's not. Like I know what being full is now, but I just got used to that feeling. And I am going to my doctor, and then she diagnosed me with the beginning stage of Hishitomo or something like that. But it's some sort of uh, I forgot what it is. But it's like a disease, but
Mm.
it's basically I had to change my diet. She wanted me to give my medication, but I don't take anything. I don't like. I never did drugs my whole life. I don't take like even aspirin, Tylenol. I don't take any of that stuff. So that's something I definitely didn't want to do is take any type of medication. So I just went online, did some research, and I found out about fasting. So I tried that, but everything like intermittent fasting normally is like an 8 hour window. You eat 2 meals a day,
Mm-hmm.
and but for me, like I kind of like to do the extreme of everything. So I found I found out the like of eating 1 meal a day is like the extreme version of fasting, where you only eat once a day. So you're fasting instead of fasting for 16 hours a day, you're fasting for 23 hours a day,
Wow. That
and
is
it's exponential. So after like mhm. After 20 hours of fasting, your body's HGH levels will like go up like up to like 2,000%. So actually
dang.
increase muscle growth, yeah, testosterone, and it's like
Dang.
it's the opposite of what a lot of people associate with like fasting. A lot of people think
Mm-hmm.
fasting you're gonna get like tired or weak or it's none of that. You get a huge like you get a ton of energy. There's a lot of professional athletes that do 1 meal a day. George St. Pierre, he's a big
Mm-hmm.
time like UFC fighter. Ronda Rousey does it. Herschel Walker,
Wow.
who's like a Hall of Fame running back, used to play for Dallas
Yeah.
Cowboys. He also did MMA. It's a lot of
Wow.
like, Olympians that do it. So
Wow.
it's something that like mainstream doesn't talk about a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people get all like, oh, it's kind of weird, but I mean, it works for me. It's not for everybody, but I mean, I
Yeah.
do it every day, so I'm just so used to it.
So when you talk about your HDH going up, tell the folks a little bit about what that means as far as those
So
things
it's
go.
growth hormone. So
Mm,
basically, HGH like is the hormone in your body that builds muscle.
mm,
And there are a lot of people who actually take HGH, but that's like it's not their animal HGH. And so kind of people take it's kind of like a steroid, I guess, to bulk up with muscle. But when you're doing that, your body will stop producing its own HGH because you're getting so much of it from the
supplemented.
supplements.
Mm,
Whereas this is 100% natural. So I
wow.
actually lost fat and I gained muscle when I started fasting. I mean, I have some pretty crazy before and after pictures
Dang.
of what I used to look like. I'll try to look for it while we talk. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty
With
crazy.
those,
Like I look at it now, I'm like, damn, I didn't know I was that fat. And that's
man,
crazy.
what's funny, I was talking with Ernie,
Uh huh.
and he's part of he's the leader of the Transcend MTB, and yeah, he was saying that nobody ever tells you, you don't really notice it until one day, you something happens, and then you look
Yeah.
up and you're like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things. Um, did you find it difficult at first to do the fasting, and
Yeah.
was it really tough? Yeah.
Hell yeah, it was hella tough. And I did like the intermittent fasting first. I did the 8 hour fasting
Mm-hmm.
for like a week. I was to be honest, it's kind of easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to like 7 hours, 6 hours, and then 5 hours, and then I jumped from I think 4 hours to just 1 meal a day. That was I mean it was like I didn't like once I did 1 meal a day, I just tried to see if I could do it for a day, and I did it. By the third day, I said I'm gonna do it for the rest of my life. And once I made that mindset, I'm pretty stubborn person. When I put my mind to do something, I'm pretty good about doing it. Like I used to drop weight like crazy in high school for wrestling, so I would
Mm-hmm.
put my body through hell just to make weight. So
Yeah.
it's not good. It's not good for you though. That like I would lose like 14, sometimes 16 pounds in one day to make weight, and that's really
Yeah.
bad for you.
It's a lot of dehydration, a lot of water
Yeah,
loss there, huh? So
yeah.
your
Just I had would
body's,
bring I had a cup with me in class. I'd be spitting in the cup all day long. It's really
gosh.
yeah. It's really unhealthy and it really jacked up my metabolism. I think that's why even though I worked out like every day, I was still overweight. But
Mm.
I found a picture. This is on Instagram, but I
Yeah.
don't know if you can see it. But
Is
there's
that,
the
is it? Oh,
so here
wow.
on the this that's me mountain biking and I was really fat right there. That
Oh,
was in
wow.
Santa Monica. And I was about 185 pounds right there.
And
And
Tommy, how old are you?
I'm 43.
I'm sorry. How tall are you? How tall are you? Sorry about that.
5'5".
5'5", 180.
Yeah,
Okay. Man. Wow, what a crazy before and after.
yeah.
That
That's
is,
about 40 pounds. 40 pounds
wow.
difference.
That's pretty inspirational. So,
Yeah,
so yeah, I mean, the intermittent fasting definitely works, and I love what you're saying about how you do it. How because the fear is that you're going to start metabolizing your muscles, right? You're going to
yeah,
start
yeah, yeah.
atrophying your muscles, but
Yep.
in your experience, that hasn't been the case. That's kind of what isn't told to you.
Yeah. So basically, that could be true, but that's not going to happen until your body burns its fat. So yeah, I think your body's really smart. Your body adapts, right? So your body will always adapt to survive.
Mm,
So the reason why humans have fat is for survival mode. For the times that you don't have food, your body can survive off your fat. So when you're fasting, and then you and so your body will burn glucose as energy, right? When you eat foods, the foods will turn to carbohydrates. Your carbohydrates will turn to sugars, and your sugars will turn to glucose, and that's what your body burns as energy. All your excess food that you eat, all the excess glucose will turn to glycogen stored in your body, and your in your body is like fat, like under as glycogen. When your body runs out of glucose, which normally happens about 13, 14 hours on average for average person, about 13 hours after the last meal, you've burned through your glucose, then then your body will then have to start burning its glycogen. It would change its glycogen to glucose for your body to burn glucose. So
mm,
essentially, after like 13 hours, your body will run out of glucose or sugars or carbs, and it will start burning fat. That's the best way to explain it. So a lot of
Got
people,
it.
so what happens is a lot of people do is like they'll have the last meal at 8 o'clock at night. They'll go to sleep, whatever. They wake up at 8. So that at 9 o'clock, that's 13 hours. They would have started burning their fat, but the first thing they do is they eat breakfast. Now they start a whole cycle over again. Their insulin jumps up, glucose goes up, and now they're just burning glucose again throughout the day. You get what I mean? So that's why if you fast, it's always best to skip your breakfast. That way, from 9 o'clock to your next meal at 12 o'clock, if you skip breakfast, you have your lunch at 12. At least for those few hours, you're burning fat.
You're getting
But
in
that's
that
why the
fat
longer
burning.
you go, the more fat you burn. So that's the whole.
Wow.
That's the best way, easiest way to understand fasting. But essentially, that's how it works. So that's why
Wow.
you go longer. That's why 23 hours like exponential. It's hard, obviously, like really hard. Like this weekend, I went to Idlewild and we rode on Sunday, and I normally have a feast, so I kind of knew better. So I packed like a huge salad with me. I brought with me up there because we normally barbecue and stuff when we ride up at Idlewild, and I brought a salad, but then I gave some salad to my friends
Oh.
because all we had was just meat, like tacos. So I ate I had about only half of the salad, and then I had to eat a few tacos, but it wasn't enough nutrients for me to last the whole day. So on Monday morning, I was starving. Like I haven't been starving like that for a long time because I'm just so used to it. But yeah, Monday morning was pretty rough because I didn't have a lot of nutrients. Like it's like I eat a lot of food, but most of it's vegetables. But that day
Wow.
was a lot of meat, meat, tacos, chips, like bad
Yeah.
stuff. It's
Did
not.
that could you feel an impact on your body after you ate that?
Yeah,
Being that it
I
was
definitely
different?
don't feel like I don't feel the same. Like when I eat at my restaurant, I feel good.
Mm.
But when I eat out, like now that we have with COVID, I have my restaurant closed a lot, like
Mm.
3 days a week. So I
Okay.
have to eat out on those 3 days. So I don't, yeah, obviously don't, and I try to support like local businesses. So when I'm eating out now, I'm eating at restaurants and like I'm not gonna order a salad. To me, that's kind of stupid. Like their salads are so small. I'll have to order like 5 salads to get full. So I normally just order one salad. I'll order like two entrees or something. It's pretty bad. I mean, I eat a lot of food. A lot of
Yeah.
people trip out. I eat a lot of
Wow.
all you can eat is what I eat a lot of when I eat
Yeah.
out.
Dang. Well,
Yeah,
for all of us who watched your videos, it's fun at the end when you guys are at Monarch 9 and you always go, these are mine. Like the one episode you had two big bowls of pho.
yeah,
And then you're like, this is my
yeah,
buddy Mike's. And
yeah,
it's funny.
yeah.
Um, so, hey, we got one of the Reckless writers came on board. He's backstage. I'm going to pull him up. It's George Hernandez, and maybe he can also help us answer this question. We got a question here from Trail Dogs MTB, and they ask, what's a good way to get acclimated to steep, gnarly trails? We rode Black Box recently, and it was definitely gnarlier than we are used to. So I'm going to bring George up here to kind of help us out with this one. George, how you doing,
George,
buddy?
What's up, boys?
what's up,
Um,
Hey.
Jordan?
what's up?
Whose
Man,
headphones are those, George?
I just got them, man. That's
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I thought they were like I thought they were your like unicorn or something. I didn't.
yeah, no,
Nice.
but you know what? Hitting gnarly trails. I mean, for me, it's always good to follow somebody. I tend to get hurt when I kind of just go blind and try to kind of figure out on my own the first time around. So it's just better to follow someone that you trust. Um, and there's no shame in stopping and walking around it if you're not feeling it. You got to be feeling it. That would be my advice. If you're feeling it, if you feel like you can do it, try it. But it's best to follow somebody that knows it.
100%. I agree.
Yeah, I think so too. And George, you were saying earlier, you and I were talking, you were on the road, and you were talking about flow state and kind of how that relates to your writing and focus. Maybe give the folks a little bit about your definition of your flow state because I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you know when you're feeling good, you're not really. thinking about um, what to do. Everything just feels kind of natural. You feel kind of, I guess it's kind of like some like feeling like in the zone type of deal. Um, but then again, you still have to be aware and respect the trail because sometimes you might think you're in that zone, you're feeling good, and that's when you can make a mistake. You take a trail for granted. Like, for example, uh, this weekend at Snow Valley, I went up with a couple of guys, and they're good riders. They're good trail riders. They're not necessarily jumpers, but my whole time I wanted to go jump the jump line. And so it got to be around 2 o'clock, and I finally got him to go down to the jump line and try it. And I did two runs, one run down the jump line kind of in segments with the guys, and then I went down it one at a time on my own and made a few mistakes about I was by myself, not following somebody. So I wasn't really feeling it. And then even though I felt inside, like, you know what, I'm not quite feeling it, but I'm gonna go to my car, grab my GoPro, and film this last run.
The last
And
run.
the last run. And I'm just gonna go
Never say last run.
top to bottom,
Yeah.
top to bottom. Sure enough, right at the very top, made a mistake on a jump. I know I can do without. I don't know what happened. I lost focus for a little bit, and here I am. It's been that kind of year though. 2020. It's been kind of weird for me.
Yeah. Before this one, George, you had, I think you were trying to heal a shoulder injury, right? Before this one.
Yeah, man.
And then, but yeah, if you guys watch the Reckless Riders on YouTube, George, your footage, you have this helmet cam, right, that comes off and it kind of spins around, and we get really
Oh,
great footage that way, or
yeah, that's a Rilo. They're no longer around. I love that camera because I like that 360 degree. But the quality image is not as good as the GoPro. GoPro's a little better, so I just started using the GoPro recently. Um, but yeah, I'll use them both. I'll use them both still.
yeah, that's pretty sweet. And Tommy,
But
you and I
but
were
but
talking
but
about, yeah. Go ahead, George.
by the way, when we say reckless riders, there's two ways. There's one way like I don't want to be reckless. I want to reckless. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's cool. So I do.
Being we basically want to be reckless but reckless at the same time.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
You guys definitely send it, and I'm sure there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff we don't get to see in the footage. Like one thing that I picked up on, Tommy, you do the crucifix before you drop in, and then I hear you say "ride safe."
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's other mantras or there's other things that you do. I mean, George, you were saying you don't like to ride blind. When you guys go out to a gnarly trail, how do you do it? Do you scope it first? Do you do the
Yeah.
pre-ride, re-ride, free ride, or how do
We
you?
scope like features. Always check it out. I always want to check out stuff, especially drops, gaps, like stuff like that. Like a lot of the stuff the gnarly stuff we normally shuttle. So like there's no point to send it on going blind first run. You're gonna have another lap to go. Play it safe. At the end of the day, I'm still a dad. I still own a business. I'm not gonna. A lot of people think I'm like
Hmm.
this like stupid stuff, but everything's kind of calculated. Like I look at stuff. I don't just blindly go. You know, like try to hurt myself. Like that's the
Hmm.
last thing I want to do.
Hmm.
Obviously, shit does happen, and I do crash, but
Yeah.
I do look at stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that I chicken out on. I leave it on the videos. I'll edit stuff out, try to make myself look better. There's stuff that I think is too big. I'll straight up say it's too big, and I'll film it.
Mm.
So I don't no shame in it. It makes me want to go back and hit it maybe the next time I come back, or I could always go back to my videos. Like I love going back to videos that are 1 or 2 years old and seeing how much I've progressed since then.
Hmm.
So I like to leave stuff like that in.
That's very cool. One of the videos that you came out with recently that I loved, it showed a goal that you said it was Snow Summit, and I believe it was the jump line, and it
Mm.
was the two big jumps at the bottom.
Oh, Snow Valley.
Snow Valley, thank you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and it was the two
Yeah,
big jumps at the bottom, and it showed you rolling up to them, and it showed you bypassing them, and it showed you
yeah,
watch them, and then at the end, you guys have to check out the video. But man, you're in there for quite some time, and that's with the GoPro. So we all know the
yeah,
GoPro effect, and it still looks big. So in reality, it's monstrous.
Yeah, and this, I mean, if it honestly, if it was a tabletop, I wouldn't even think twice. Like, it's the fact there's a gap and there's this hole, and if I come up short, I'm basically gonna probably end up in a hospital. So that
Mm,
is a mental thing for me. I'm scared of heights too. So
mm,
jumping over something and seeing the ground that far beneath me scares the hell out of me. But if I have a tabletop, the same size jump, I'm not scared of tabletop. So it's just a different my for me. I'm just scared of heights. So gaps just scare me for that
yeah,
reason. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of us too. In fact, I was talking with MTB Allen is on, and we were talking about a gap that is up in I think Crooks, and he was saying that that's still sometimes just something with gaps for all of us.
Yeah.
There's that you leave the ground and there's a pit or there's nothing there, and the
Mhm.
consequences and risks are real.
Yeah.
So, guys, we got a good one here. This is Edwin Granados, and Edwin's part of the Trail Dogs crew. He actually just started biking not too long ago. He asks, any advice on getting over the fear of riding trails with huge drop offs on one
Huh.
side or even either side? Basically, a fear of heights. That's just what we were talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you
Well,
guys
I can
do
speak
to.
for myself. Like when I started riding, like the first year, like the one guy I met in Aliso, he brought me out to Mount Wilson, and there was 12 of us that we went, and so it was 11 of us that went for the first time, and he was our trail guide, and I was the only person that went back a second time the next week. Like all my friends just said, "No way, I'm never going back up there," because it was just exposure. It's scary.
Mm,
Like, and I'm scared of heights. So what I got used to doing was just not looking on the side of the cliff. And so there's like certain turns that I actually always yell out, like, don't look left or don't look right. And that's just something I put in all my videos because it's so, to answer the question, just don't look, like, just look at the trail. It's kind of like, I don't know if this is just me or this happens to people. Like, when you're trying to avoid something, that's normally what you end up hitting. So when you're looking at a tree and you're trying to avoid that tree, a lot of times you end up hitting that tree. I mean, for me, that happens a lot. So if you're paying attention to the edge, then sometimes that's where you're going to end up going. So just try to pay attention to the trail ahead of you. And if you're looking like 20 feet ahead of you the entire time, looking at the ground and then rocks or whatever, your attention will get away from the exposure on the left or right side. That's just my advice for a person that is definitely afraid of heights riding trails that are pretty sketchy with
yeah.
exposure.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. And as a new writer myself, I noticed that just you wherever your head goes to look, your body wants to follow.
Yeah,
And I've crashed,
yeah,
trying to learn how to not do that. Look where I
yeah.
need to go.
Mm-hmm.
MTB Allen says it right here. He says target fixation. That's a great
Yeah.
way to put it. That's a great way to put it. Trail dogs say, you'll go where you look. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. What about you, George? Same advice for Edwin on that type of thing, or?
Yeah, well, it's good to know that there's other people with fear of heights. I suffered from it as well. And one example, I mean, I used to go to Zion National Park a while back, and I used to go hike some of those trails there. There's one trail there,
Oh,
Angel's Landing,
Angel's Landing. Yeah.
right? Right. So I had heard about it. There's like a little section with like 400-foot drops on either side. It's a very,
Jeez.
I don't know, maybe
Fuck
4 feet
that.
wide trail. So
Yeah.
you know what? When I made that climb the first time, I didn't even see those drops. I was so focused on the trail ahead of me, I didn't even notice they were there.
Yeah.
So the same thing kind of applies to riding. When I went to Mount Wilson, and I always see Tommy's videos like, "Don't look left, don't look left." I didn't even know it was there because I was focused on the trail. So as long as yeah, like MTV Allen said, target fixation, just stay on point, looking at the trail. Don't pay attention. No. In fact, the last crash I had at Snow Valley, I think there were people standing on the side of two jumps, and I looked at them, and it distracted me just enough to take my focus off just a little bit, and I crashed. I know it. So
Jeez.
I look at the video slowly, and I see him, boom, one guy there, one guy over here, and I looked at him, and
Mm,
it distracted me just
Mm.
enough to make a mistake.
man, and you were telling me with that crash, that was pretty gnarly, right? Because your front tire hit the knuckle.
Yeah, man, and it's been a mistake.
It's a step up. It's kind of it's a pretty long gap, but it's a step up too. So like that's the other thing that like I'm not like a great jumper, but I'm learning. But that's the one thing is like you like I used to judge stuff by distance, and there's a big difference between a step up, step down, and a gap. You know, so a step down, you're not going to need as much speed because you're actually the transition is already further down, so you don't need the same amount of like a 20-foot step down is a lot easier than a 20-foot step up. So this the one that George crashed on is about a what a 15-foot step up. It's not really big, but it's it's
Yeah.
it's it's a step up. So and then that lip is not really big. It's not really so you kind of almost have to lift up to make sure you get your because I think George's speed was fine. I saw the video. He wasn't going slow. It wasn't like he came up short. He just didn't lift up his front enough. Just this maybe
Yeah.
a couple inches, and it just got him at the wrong angle and just
Dang.
twisted his bars.
Wow. And there was a little bit of wind out there too, but you don't
Yeah.
think that was an effect for
I,
it,
I
George?
didn't I didn't feel it. The guys that saw me go crash, they said it looks like the wind got you, but I didn't feel the wind. Um, I think I was just got slightly distracted and just kind of took that jump for
Yeah.
granted. You know what I mean?
It
Yeah.
looked like his front tire hit and twisted his bars. Like it just and once your bars cross, you I mean you're going down for sure. You know. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. So maybe the wind did get me then.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know?
It
Maybe it
happens
did.
so fast, you know. You saw those folks off to the side, you come out of flow state real quick. It's all it takes is a split second. Here's Danny MTB, Danny B. He's got a cool YouTube channel too. When you say don't look left, you look left. so so that
Mm.
definitely happens. Edwin Granados says thank you, and he also says Angel's Landing. So he's been there before. Looks
Yeah.
like he actually did that hike and only fixated on the chains that you're holding on to.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you go there in the winter, that little narrow section, man, that sometimes it has snow and ice on it, and
Yeah.
that's sketch.
Yeah.
That's definitely sketch. Another question, or Eris, is the jumps are hard to keep speed through the kitty litter berms. Did you guys notice that with the sand out there as well, the
Mhm.
dirt?
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, that's the thing for me. Like, I ride so many different places that it's not, it's not really that big of a factor because I've ridden way worse. Like, Mammoth is way worse than Snow Valley, but it's just like if you're used to a certain type of um, trail system or dirt, and then you go. I know a lot of guys from up north then they come down here and they trip out when they ride with us because it's just in Southern California there's a lot of steep loose over hard pack. That's like Laguna is like steep loose over hard pack. um Santa Barbara is going to be like super super chunky, so there's like this different uh different types of dirt, different type of terrain, and I think if you're for me, I ride so many different places that I think it's helped a lot. Like I'm not like if I were you like when I first started, I rode really mainly just a Liso, and when I started riding elsewhere, the dirt was different. I struggled with it, but yeah, it's just one of those things you kind of get you get used to it, and then you kind of learn like you when to break, when not to break. Really is the key to get over um, like turning on kitty litter.
Yeah,
But it is messed up though. No matter what, like it's hard. I have a
yeah.
really hard time riding up there.
Do you think that the skills that we learn down here as Southern California bike riders, do you think if we go up north that it would be a treat for us, or would it be
Yeah.
just a different difficulty?
No, I mean I see it as it's easier going up north because dirt is way nicer. Like it's tacky.
Sticky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to me, it's easier. It's like my weakness is definitely loose. Like when things are loose, I don't do well. Like I could do steep, chunky, like as long as the like for example, bootleg in Las Vegas, really gnarly stuff, but the rock is super sticky, and so I had no problems there. But
Interesting.
you get me on like loose stuff like Mammoth, I struggle. Like that type of stuff is like I'm not good at riding loose like
Wow.
Snow Valley too. Like that type of dirt, I'm not a big fan of. Like I don't really like it.
Yeah.
Snow Valley is awesome. Like the jump line is sick, but I'm not a fan of the dirt.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And then folks that are watching or listening in, that was Tommy and George. He goes back and forth. George, mainly, are you riding e-bike right now? An e-mountain bike?
Um, it's weird. So in Orange County, I pedaled most of the time because e-bikes. I use my e-bike at San Clemente, Sky Park. Where else would I use it? Those are the
Simi
main
Valley,
ones I
right?
would use. Now I do, but so
Yeah.
when I moved to LA, uh, you can ride e-bikes anywhere, and so it's become kind of my primary bike, and I ride it everywhere. It's Rocky Peak, everywhere. They're so much fun.
Does the e-bike, in your opinion, does it feel when you're riding over the loose over hard? Does the e-bike, because maybe it weighs more or center of gravity is a lot lower? Do you experience a different ride than say Tommy and I would out there, or
You
how does
feel
that
more
feel?
you feel more planted. Definitely feel more planted, but you have to adjust the braking a little bit. You have to brake a little sooner, which is
Mm,
actually a good thing because it actually helped me develop good technique as far as cornering. Because
mm.
now I brake way before I get into a corner, and then I let go and I hit the corner much better now. I've seen that cross over into my regular trail riding. My cornering has gotten much better. But when it comes to jumping, I mean, yeah, you feel a little heavier, but it, I mean, if guys are out there scrubbing and whipping, motorcycles, an extra,
Yeah.
20 pounds, it's not really
Right.
that big a deal.
Right.
you know,
Right. No, and on the videos, man, it looks like you're having no issues at all.
Yeah,
Putting
there's
the
a
bike
lot
yeah.
of
up in
Well,
the
there's
sky.
but
there's a
I've
lot of
also
hate.
developed some. Yeah, I've also got some bad techniques. When I went riding at Aliso with Tommy recently, I forgot about that little step up on Link Trail, and it ruined my momentum. Those guys just kept flying, and I had to kind of adjust my pedaling gears, and I couldn't catch up to them.
Oh
So
man.
on an e-bike, I don't have to worry about those little step ups. You just crawl over them so easily. It's a lot of fun. But
Yeah, there's
it
a lot
develops
of
a
there's a lot of hate with on e-bikes for some reason. I don't get it. Like why people are so against. I think it's not as bad as it was like a year ago. But I mean,
They're
I
super
have
good bikes.
yeah, they're. I mean, ride what you like. I don't get the hate with people that ride e-bikes. Like I think it's people that's never rode an e-bike, they have a lot of hate. Like I've test rode e-bikes. Um, if money wasn't an issue, like I would definitely have a bunch of different types of bikes. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I have a problem with e-bikes. I mean, jumping on the e-bike, I wasn't like I test rode a bunch of e-bikes at Sky Park. And I don't know if that's the best place to test e-bikes because it's all
Yeah,
jump. I didn't
anywhere.
like the way it felt jumping just because I'm used to a bike being more fork heavy, like front end heavy,
Mm-hmm.
and then this was more like middle bottom like heavy. So it just felt weird to me. But I'm like in the end of the day, you kind of just get used to it. So just like a new bike, you just get used to the way it handles. But yeah, I don't know why Orange County don't allow e-bikes. It's kind of stupid in my opinion.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of like when we went from skiing to snowboarding, right? There's that, just
Yeah.
people have a hard time with change. In the surfing, when I was surfing quite a bit, I ended up getting one of those stand-up paddle surfboards, and I'd paddle out and get hated
Nice.
on. But those things were so fun,
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah.
Um, so getting into the YouTube channel a little bit, let's get into the YouTube just a bit here. This is a perfect segue. Dennis Cortez says, "What other MTB writers do you enjoy watching on YouTube?" Is there anybody that kind of puts you guys on the spot a little bit? Is there anyone that you guys look to? I know a ton of us look forward to when your videos release. That's for sure.
Oh, I watch a lot of YouTubers, a ton of them. So I'm like, there's a lot. You want me to name like so? There's
No,
no,
I
yeah,
he was
no,
just
there's pretty
he
much
was just
every.
at Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just asking which ones you enjoy watching. So yeah, I mean, so many people put out great
Mhm.
content. You have obviously MTB Allen. He's on the line tonight. He always puts out great, thoughtful stuff. The Outsiders is great. Obviously Reckless Riders is always a good one. How about you, George? Kind of the same thing, just watching
Yeah,
watching videos and progressing.
yeah. Well, yeah. It's hard not to know those three names you mentioned, since being especially in Orange County area. Um, lately, I've been there's another guy back east that I enjoy watching his Whistler. I really want to go to Whistler this year. I mean, I had high expectations of going to Whistler, so I watch some guys from up there. There's the Skills with
Jordan.
Phil guy, it was a lot of fun to watch. Jordan
Oh,
Beastmaster.
Skills with Phil, that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
He did
He's
some really good
badass.
stuff, like just following really good riders. It's just fun to see these
Mhm.
guys just
Nate Hills is
slow
another like
down.
badass.
Yeah, and then Remy, I
Remy,
can't.
yeah.
He does some
Met
good stuff.
Canelo or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does a lot of cool stuff, like Squamish stuff, and that's the kind
Mhm.
that's Tommy riding all day long. That Squamish stuff.
Mhm.
I know Tommy would love that, and it's one of those things like they do some gnarly sketchy that GoPro effect obviously does not do it justice, but
yeah.
I enjoy watching some of that stuff as well. So it's mostly just kind of local people,
Mm-hmm.
and then some Whistler guys. Um, because I really want to go up there. That's kind of my extent of YouTubers.
That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah, you had mentioned Skills with Phil. I love how that guy is just doing gnarly stuff up in Whistler, and he's just talking in the camera like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go hit this," and oh, excuse me, everybody, and he's just
Yeah,
flying all over.
guy's
Gnarly.
hilarious.
He did one like following guys, these pro guys on downhill bikes with his 130 millimeter travel bike. He's just keeping up with them like nothing. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
That is crazy. That is crazy. We got a question here from Trail Dogs MTB. How long has Chris been riding? He's on another level.
Chris actually has been riding less than I have. Like actually met Chris at Mount Wilson when he first started riding. But he has a big time BMX background. So that's where, but he's just a
Mm.
talented. He's super talented. He's like his hand-eye coordinating. Like what his ex-girlfriend told me that he just no matter what sport he got into is really good. I know he's really good at volleyball. He's I know we freaking challenged him with ping pong and man, he whooped my ass. Like got me off drunk. He's like everything he does is super good at. Like he fucking roller skates. I was like, what the fuck is roller skating? This guy like he does everything. It's crazy. Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
see that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh, hey, there we go. Calvin U's on. He says, "How do we get a girl like Big Booty Chris? Swipe right more often on Grinder."
Oh gosh, what's grinder?
MTB Allen, Remy is the shiz.
Yeah.
So, Tommy, when it comes to the YouTube and it comes to the channel, we were going back to how you started writing, and you were injured, and luckily you were exposed through physical therapist or orthopedic person.
Hmm.
And at what point did you say, "Hey, I'm gonna start a channel"?
Well, the funny thing is that first year, like I would post videos, did not have any intention to have a mountain biking channel. That's why it's just Tommy Wynn. It's just my name.
Mm.
Um, and I posted it for my friends. Like we would ride, and I would just post the video for us to watch more, so we could see or ride and then see where we messed up. Like we were going down like crazy. I mean, we were beginners. We were doing stupid shit and just crashing. And so it's funny to watch us crash. And so that's why if you watch my video, if you look at my old videos, I have like videos from when I first started. Like, yeah, so like really old GoPro footage. I think this was like a GoPro 3 or GoPro 2. But that's what and then people started subscribing, like people that I didn't know started subscribing, which was weird to me. And then it
Wow.
just kind of grew from there. It's weird. Like I never intended to have a channel. I I still don't. Well, actually, I technically do now. I say subscribe, but I never actually say the words, hey, subscribe to my channel. But
Mm.
I just started like my outro at the end of my video now. It has like, it just says the word subscribe. But this is one of those things I just never intended to do it. I think kind of on purpose because before mountain biking, like I have a pretty addictive personality, and that's the main reason why I'm glad I never got into drugs because I know I'd be like a crackhead in a week if I started doing any type of drugs. So like when I started paintballing, was the same thing. I just would go out there and paintball, and then eventually some of the guys on a team hit me up to practice with them. They brought me on basically to be target practice, and I felt,
Oh, dang.
like yeah, they're really there so I can get shot up. But I actually did really well, and then I got put on the team. We were sponsored and everything, and then
Oh, dang.
we
Whoa,
played like
I
we
didn't know that.
played like in the nationals. But it's paintball, and then it became it wasn't fun no more. Once we got sponsors, and then you have to have practices. Now it's not even playing anymore. Now it's practice. And we had a volunteer at the. It just not. It became more of a job than a hobby. So
Mm,
for me, I want to make sure that this, to me, 100% is hobby first. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm a business owner first. Mountain biking, I love it, but it's a hobby. Like the minute that it becomes a job or any type of anything other than a hobby, to me, it's not going to be fun. So that's how I kind of look at it. I try not to. I really don't care about my subscription count or anything like that. I mean, I don't want to say I don't care. I do. I appreciate all my subscribers, but it's not like I'm not doing it for you know
for that.
anything. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I actually just started. Funny that Mo Awesome, Mo and Hannah, they're the ones who got me to put what's it called to get money from YouTube, like put
Oh,
commercials on,
monetize it. Yeah.
monetize it. I literally just did it like a few months ago, and
Wow, Tommy.
like I didn't have commercials on my videos until like 2020, and they were the ones who set it up for me. I didn't even know how to set up. They came to my restaurant, set it up for me, and then they went away to Thailand, and then they were gone for a while, and then I didn't know how to put in my credit card or bank information, so I wasn't even getting money for like a few months. And then
Wow.
when I got back, they put in my credit card, but then all that money that I was supposed to get, I never got. Like, so it's kind of like, but I mean it is. I mean, it's not like it's a lot of money, but it's cool to have. It goes to basically all the parts I break. But it's not a lot of money. Like a lot of people think. I don't even know how much I get a month. Like maybe $200 to $300. Like it's not a lot at all. hmm
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And I
I could.
think, yeah, go ahead,
Sorry,
George.
yeah. I was just gonna say, I bet you Tommy went to nationals is hard to hit, hard target to hit. You know,
Was that?
moving around. I say you made nationals because you're probably a hard target to hit. Quick,
Yeah.
shifty, you know. Remember
Yeah.
how to be able to hide better and all that stuff.
That's right.
But
Those
no,
fat.
when it comes to YouTube, yes, I enjoy watching everyone's YouTube. I like to see everyone's different personalities on the trails and their approach on how they put out videos. They're consistent on which days they're gonna be put them out. Um, and I mean, I can see Alan popped up right here. Yeah, I mean, you can see he's gotten very technical and very pro-like. You know, he's very high level quality. Um, Tommy is just more raw. You know, out there, but it's cool. I really respect the hobby and the professional approach as well, man. You guys all do a great job.
Yeah, no, well said. There's so many different styles. In fact, I stumbled on one of I think Calvin Yu is one of your Reckless riders, is he not?
His stuff is funny, man.
He's the
He is. I
homie.
like it. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
homie for sure.
I watched some of his videos. I just stumbled upon him like 2 days ago, and it's very cinematic. The way that
Yeah,
his style is, it
totally.
looks very professional. It's awesome. Um, we got a question here, kind of pulls us out of the YouTube a little bit, but this is a good one. How do you guys get over a bad crash and overcome the mental battle? And how soon do you get back on the trails and then try them again? Boy, that's a good one. Who wants to? Any one of you guys?
Well, I
I
can
guess
answer. I
I
mean,
could.
for me,
Yeah.
for
Oh,
me
go ahead,
personally,
Tommy.
like if I'm able, like obviously I crash a lot. 99% of the time, I'll get right up and try it again. If it's a really bad crash, then I'm like, okay, you got me. I'm gonna hopefully hit you next time when I get back. But most of the time, I'll immediately get up, get my bike, hike up, and then hit that same feature again. because then it helps me make sure that other if I leave that place without trying it, then it's gonna mess me up the next time I come back. If it's like something that I know I could do, if it's something that I really got hurt pretty bad, or is kind of like really shook me up, then yeah, I'll I'll go and do it when I feel comfortable. But it's all mental. Like obviously, it's mental. If you crash, you know what you did wrong, then normally you could fix it. If you don't know what you did wrong, then I wouldn't do it again. Like if I had no clue how I crashed, what went wrong, then I'm not going to try it again because most likely I'm going to do the same mistake. You know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, the murder hornets they call it when you go down like that. You're like, what the hell happened
mm,
there? How about you, George? Same thing for you when you crash bad, or how do you approach that?
Um, yeah, I'll just ease my way back into it. I'm 49 years old, so it's like, man, these injuries are mounting up this year. But um, for me, the places where I have crashed is places that I've ridden several times, and I just took the trail for granted, thinking, oh, I know this trail, and I just lose a little focus. That's where I seem to crash the most. Where something, so I know what my mistake is typically. But yeah, just ease into it, man. There's no shame in if you crash somewhere to lay off of it for a little while, but when you feel ready to go back, little step at a time, little step at a time, you know.
yeah, and then I always just like always like have somebody that knows how to hit that feature tow you in. Like that's the main thing. Like I like you don't really see me doing anything blind. Like I don't. That's not what I do. Like I always like I'll get towed in 90% of the time by Chris. You know, like something like that I'm unsure of or sketchy about. Um, I don't like going in blind, and I'm not about that. I'm not good enough to know the speed or
That's bingo.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. It's not
it's all
worth it
about
either. You know.
speed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
if you have the confidence, if you know you can do it, you have the confidence to do it. Um, yeah, it just typically comes down to speed. When it comes to
Mm-hmm.
jumps,
Yeah, yeah, jumps for
when
sure.
it comes but when it comes down to like the technical stuff, it's just kind of just
Yeah,
finding
I'm
somebody
not
that's
really
know
too. Yeah, yeah.
somebody that
I'm,
knows a better line or something.
Yeah,
Cross
I'm not that scared of technical downhill stuff. I'm not really like, oh, I need to know the line. I'm a little bit more like point and shoot and kind of figure it out. Like obviously depending on the gnarliness of the steep tech stuff, but the jumping wise, like features and stuff like that is definitely I like to get towed in for the
Yeah.
speed.
That makes sense. Get the knowledge, get the accurate knowledge, and get through it safely. But
Mhm.
send it. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Now I know we're already up against 8:13. How are you guys doing on time? You guys doing okay?
Mhm.
There's a couple more things I just wanted to get through and really just share with the folks out there. So one of the things, this is probably more for you, Tommy. With you have Reckless Riders on it's Reckless Riders on Instagram, and on YouTube it's T-Rex,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
what is the future hold? I know that you don't want to make the YouTube channel a job, but do you have any visions of what you want to do with this? I mean, you got quite a few followers. A lot of folks, see your stuff, kind of see you guys as like hitting gnarly things and enjoy watching that. But what does the future have in hold for that?
Well, like the Reckless Rider, like the merchandise is something that I got hit up about for years. Like that was something that people kept always telling me like they wanted support, which is awesome and I appreciate
Yeah.
it. And it was when COVID hit and my restaurant like it was really bad. But mainly I had more time, so I basically got the merchandise and I've had a lot of support, which is super super cool. to see. Like I met a kid this Tuesday out in Marietta, and he's a huge fan. He's like, I don't even know who he is, but his dad, they were in a car and he pulled us over, and so it was really cool to meet like the kids I love to see because that's the future, you know.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, I feel like we got to be like before I really like I know I'm not like the best example. Like I do cuss a lot, but I, I feel like kids are gonna kids knows they know these words. I mean, I guarantee like they're cussing. I get like I shouldn't be cussing, but I'm not. I actually do my best not to. But when I'm writing, I'm just a different person. Like if I'm at the restaurant, obviously I'm not talking like that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
different when I write. I just don't take the time to like beep stuff out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the kids, I love the kids. Like I love to see the stoke in the kids. I met like so many kids that they were with my group rides a couple years ago, and now they're shredders. You know, like
Dang.
it's crazy. Like I love seeing that, like the progression.
Wow. That's gotta
Um,
feel
yeah,
good.
hell yeah,
I
it's dope. Like I'm like having a hard time keeping up with them, you know, and they were like beginners when they were riding with me like a couple years ago. So it's cool to see that. And these are like young kids, like 14, like high school kids, you know,
Wow.
super cool.
So you thinking maybe something along the lines with youth giving back in that sense, or not sure yet, but that's one of the
Yeah,
things
I
that
mean,
definitely
like
you
like
enjoy.
I'm always down for to like right now, like anything I could do with the mountain biking community, I definitely will. Like I get hit up randomly for stuff, and I always like I don't say no. Like I had somebody today on Instagram, his bike was stolen, and he just I don't know him, but he hit me up just if I could just share his story on his bike. So, little stuff like that. But also it's more like the bigger stuff with volunteering and getting like protesting, I guess, against the shit that's happening in Aliso with OC Parks and just all the like for them destroying trails and stuff like that. Like I'm trying to get together. For example, we're trying to do um, a trail work day, right? So where I can get volunteers to go out and do trail work, and so I'm working with a guy who's with the Laguna Foundation, and they're not OC Park
Perfect.
is not allowing us to do that. So
Oh.
they'll allow like 6 people to do trail work right now, but they have to
Oh.
be certified or something
Oh.
stupid. And
Jeez.
that's just nonsense. Like
Right.
the trails are so beat up right now. You got so many new people that are out riding, and I'm stoked for them, like the new guys. But unfortunately, they don't know how to ride yet properly, so they're braking hard before
Into the
berms,
berms.
and
Mm-hmm.
they're jacking up the trails, so there are brake bumps everywhere. So we need to get those things fixed, and we need a lot of like people to help out, and I can get people so many people reached out and said I'm totally down to do it because I announced it like a couple weeks ago. I thought it's something that could be easy to be done, and it's not. Like I actually was talking to him this weekend about it, and he says like we can't do it because they only allow X amount of people to do it, and you have to get certified through OC Parks to do the trail maintenance. So
Man.
it's really stupid. Like stuff like that. It's just dumb. It's
S-
really stupid.
Sounds like you need, and maybe it exists. I don't know, but maybe there's like a Orange County Mountain Bike Association that can talk to OC Parks and see if they could figure something out. Because you've got the bandwidth and the power to get people out there.
Hmm.
That would do way more than 6 people.
Yeah.
Way more.
Hmm.
So no, I love it, and you're totally down. I mean, getting on this show, for example, you didn't hesitate to be like, yeah, man, okay, let's. I've never done that. Let's go for it. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I really appreciate you. That's awesome. We talked about merch, or actually, in
For
George,
sure.
as far as where you are, I know you're one of the Reckless riders. What's kind of the future for you in the sport?
I love it. I'll keep riding until I can't ride. It's a lot of fun. But talking about the kids, I always enjoy seeing some of these kids when they see, like on some of the videos on Tommy's like, hey, can I be in your video? And I haven't seen one in a
Mhm.
while, but yeah, go on in. We'll follow you. And I know Alan does it as well, like Sky Park, things
Yeah.
like that. So it's always fun to
Oh,
see some of these kids
so cool.
that watch the channels and that and then I like to see where they are in a year or so. Some of these
Hmm.
kids, see
Mhm.
how they progressed. But yeah, but
Hmm.
for me personally, yeah, I love the sport. I hope I can get my daughter into it maybe, um, and get her out there, start riding with me. And I know you're riding with your son as well, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Messiah. He's got a hardtail Haro, and he's not afraid of anything. He just wants to send it all.
yeah,
so
That's
that's
cool.
so, but I think I might be on the hunt for a dual suspension mountain bike for him here in the near future.
yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool. I wish
Yeah,
my kids mountain bike. They try, but they're not into it. Mhm.
yeah. I know it helps, with that role as father when there's so many jobs that we have, and especially you have work or you own a business and then you're a husband and then you're a father and you want to get out and you want a mountain bike too. So it's hard to have all these time slots dedicated, something's got to give always, and it's always a delicate balance.
Mhm.
But yeah,
It's a
so
it's a good time for mountain biking, man. Disc brakes, uh, dual suspension. I mean, it's I can't imagine if we had that technology when we were younger. You know what I mean?
oh
Mhm.
yeah,
It's
and
amazing.
yeah, and the bikes look so cool now. With like you were saying, the way that the suspension looks, the disc brakes, the different types of paint jobs on them.
Yeah, they're
it's
awesome.
it's an expensive sport, but it's a one time buy, right? Because every time you go out, it shouldn't cost you much.
Yeah. Too
Someone sent me
expensive.
a link for a frame in the UK, a frame for a new bike. It was I think it was 13,999 pounds.
Oh wow!
So that's I don't know how many dollars, $20,000. It's
Oh,
crazy for the frame.
jeez,
That's
jeez.
that's absurd.
Yeah, that's on
Yeah,
the high end. Hope it's got gold or platinum in it.
That's
it's
crazy.
like money. That's crazy.
So, while we have you guys here, Tommy, if you wouldn't mind, one of the ways we can support you as a mountain bike community, obviously watching your YouTube videos helps out, giving it a like. I know you don't ask for subscriptions, but sometimes the more subscriptions you guys do for these channels, like the Reckless Riders, like Tommy's or T Rex, it does give back to him to buy more equipment, things like that, and also merchandise. If you want some merchandise from the Reckless Riders, Tommy, how can folks go out there and help support you or get some Reckless Riders merch?
I have a website, but I have not got it like up yet. So
Okay.
right now it's just hitting me up on Instagram. So
Okay. The
um,
DM on Instagram.
yeah, just DM me and or email me and then and I will just get back to people. So I have my my Instagram, my personal is T underscore Rex WREX underscore MTB, and then the Reckless Rider Instagram is Reckless Riders. I mean at Reckless Riders. So that's just the two ways to get in touch with me through Instagram. Mhm.
Okay. And then the email, I think it was, is it the recklesswriters at
Uh,
gmail.com?
Reckless Riders MTB at gmail.com.
Okay, there you
Mm-hmm.
go, folks. So either on the Instagram with the DM or recklesswritersmtb at gmail.com. And currently, what kind of merch do you have available for
Mm.
folks?
Well, I grabbed this because you told me that you're gonna bring it up. So this is the shirt I just got. It's a jersey material, but a lot of people wanted me to make oh shit shirts because that's the thing. Like I always say before I crash,
Right, right when you're
it
going down, yeah.
it just happens. It's so like they have like the keep calm. So it says oh shit, keep calm, get up and ride on. So
Nice.
this is the front and then the back is the
Oh
reckless
yeah,
riders.
that's the
Yeah,
Reckless Riders logo on the
yeah,
back, the skull on the crank. That's
yeah.
that's pretty sweet, and that looks like a nice thick material. Like if you take a spill on that, that's not going to
Yeah, yeah.
tear holes. It doesn't look like.
No, like unfortunately, I've taken a lot of spills on it. And I don't have no holes on my jersey, so it holds
Good.
up for sure. Yeah, I
Good.
mean, it's good right now. I mean, it was a little bit harder to wear. Like I had another three-quarter sleeve jersey, it was thinner, much
Hmm.
better to wear during this hot summer. But right now, these thicker ones is like perfect right now because it's been a lot cooler lately.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. As we enter into the fall and
Yeah.
winter season, this would be a good way to pick it up. So if you guys are interested in that, I know if you're listening to this on the podcast here in the future, you can't see it, but it's a jersey with the Reckless Riders logo on the back, and on the front, it's got his quote. It says oh shit, what is it? Oh shit,
Oh shit. Keep keep calm, get up, and ride on.
oh
So like
shit, keep
the
calm, get up and ride on.
yeah, because those that one is like a I think the original one says keep calm and something on like right keep calm and whatever like carry on. That's like
Carry on.
yeah that and has that crown. This
Okay.
yes. So on this one we kind of did a take off of that.
That's
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. And then also wanted to make sure that we talked about your restaurant and gave that a plug because we know I hear great things about the restaurant. I need to go in there. The restaurant's called Monarch Nine,
Yeah.
and what is it in one location, a couple locations?
No,
Where can people come in and enjoy some of that food?
it's one location. It's in Yorba Linda, which is like around the 91. So it is on the. We get a lot of people stopping by. A lot of mountain bikers. I'm always stoked to meet mountain bikers and coming in and helping support me. So it's though it's such a sick community, but we're really close by Santiago Oaks, which
Mm.
unfortunately is on fire right now. Like it's
Mm.
pretty bad. Like I drove back there yesterday, and it's on fire.
Oh damn.
But we're kind of close to Aliso. We're close to the Troy Lee Trails. We're on the way to Summit, like Snow Valley. So we're off the 91, off of Yorba Linda or Weird Canyon. So
Okay.
yeah,
Awesome. Monarch 9. And with COVID and the restrictions, are you currently open only
yeah.
certain
So
days of the week or?
yeah, right now we're only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but we're gonna
Okay.
be open up on Wednesdays starting in November. So next week we're gonna be open up on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
And then with a lot of other restaurants, they have outdoor seating, and some are saying to make reservations because maybe they can't accommodate as much as they used to with the space. How is it there for your restaurant?
Yeah, we've been pretty packed Fridays and Saturday nights lately because it got a lot colder. Inside, we have a ton of tables now. Like we have a ton of tables outside, but indoor dining is at 50% with the COVID regulations. So
Hmm.
it is definitely better to make reservations if possible. But
Okay.
we do get a lot of people just come in without reservations. Mhm.
That's that's awesome. So there you
Mhm.
guys go. And I'm sure if they go into Monarch Nine, and if they're not sure and they're in the right spot, you probably have merch in there that they'll be able to
Yeah,
see in
yeah,
there as well. So you
mhm.
can go get a yummy bowl of pho and then pick up
Yeah,
one of the merch there, and you'll be in the right spot. And if Tommy's in, that'd be even another plus for you.
yeah.
So, man, I know you're a dad. I know you're running a business. Thank you so much for both of you guys for hopping on and spending an hour and a half here on the segment. I really appreciate you guys. Is there anything that you want to say in closing to any of the kids that are watching or listening here in the future? Any little tips of
Um,
advice?
what I would say is keep riding for sure, and keep a positive attitude towards everybody. I mean, I know that I used to be one of those guys that didn't like hikers back in the day,
Mm,
um, but we got to be courteous because we sharing the trails and having conflict only makes things worse. We're gonna lose the battle every single time. So if you're giving good vibes, you will get good vibes. I mean, I
mm,
always try to say hi to
love
everybody,
that.
like down the trail,
Hmm.
and 9 out of 10 of them are going to be really cool. You're going to get that one dickhead, but just ignore them. You know what I mean? Just
Hmm.
but stay positive, keep riding, and keep progressing. You know?
That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. That's great advice. Control what you can control. Put out the positive vibes and
Mm-hmm.
shut out any
Wear
negative vibes that may come in. How about you,
wear
George?
wear a helmet. Wear
Helmet,
elbow pads. You
elbow
know, wear elbow pads.
pad.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yes. Put those elbow pads on. You know why
yeah,
not? And
That's
wear
true.
your
yeah,
pads. Yeah,
yeah,
stay safe.
Yeah, there you go, kids.
yeah.
That's great advice from the Wreckless Riders. This has been Tommy and George. You guys have been awesome. Thank you again so much for being on the show tonight, and look forward to having you guys back on at some point. And you guys stay safe, ride safe, and
riding together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta get out there with you guys, even though I might be trying to find the roundabouts for every feature.
It's okay.
Yeah. But thanks again so much, you guys. And thank you, folks, everybody who's joining in, everybody who listened in. And if you're listening to this in your car and the podcast in the future, thank you so much. I hope you guys hit up some great trails and have a great ride. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Peace out.